The convoy was supposed to save them. Instead, it became a battlefield of lies, hubris, and punctured rubber. In the scorched summer of 2025, the small town of Halstead, Kansas, was choking on desperation. A brutal drought had drained wells, withered crops, and left families rationing their last cans of soup. When news broke that a relief convoy loaded with water, food, and medical supplies was en route, hope flickered like a candle in a storm. But hope is a fragile thing, and in Halstead, it was about to be crushed under the weight of a scheme so audacious it would spark a firestorm. The mastermind was Evelyn Carter, a 42-year-old HOA president with a smile as sharp as a switchblade. Evelyn wasn't just a Karen, she was the Karen of Karens, a self-appointed guardian of Halstead's manicured lawns and social order. Her HOA, the Halstead Homeowners Alliance, ruled with an iron grip, fining residents for untrimmed hedges or unsightly mailboxes. But Evelyn's latest obsession wasn't aesthetics, it was power. When she heard about the relief convoy, organized by a national charity to aid drought-stricken towns, she saw an opportunity. Not to help, but to control. Evelyn's plan was as bold as it was vile. She rallied her inner circle: Marjorie, a retired accountant with a vendetta against freeloaders, and Chad, a realtor who could sell sand in a desert. Together, they spread a rumor. The convoy wasn't real aid. It was a scam, they claimed, a ploy by outsiders to dump expired goods and tainted water on Halstead. "We deserve better," Evelyn declared at a packed HOA meeting, her voice trembling with staged indignation. "We'll stop those trucks and demand accountability." The room erupted in cheers, fueled by fear and mistrust. By morning, Evelyn had a small army of loyalists ready to act. The convoy arrived at dawn, a line of dust-caked trucks rumbling down Highway 50. Exhausted volunteers, who'd driven through the night, expected grateful faces. Instead, they met a blockade. Evelyn and her crew stood shoulder to shoulder across the road, wielding tire irons and righteous fury. "You're not dumping your garbage here," Marjorie shrieked, jabbing a finger at the lead driver, a wiry man named Luis who'd spent weeks coordinating the aid. Before he could explain, Chad and two others slipped behind the trucks. With swift, practiced stabs, they slashed every tire they could reach. The hiss of escaping air was drowned out by the HOA's chants. "No scams! No lies!" Luis, stunned, tried to reason. "This is food, water, real help," he shouted, holding up a crate of bottled water. But Evelyn was relentless. She live-streamed the confrontation on X, framing it as a heroic stand against corporate charity fraud. Her post went viral, racking up thousands of likes from strangers who saw her as a crusader. For a fleeting moment, she felt invincible. But the truth has a way of catching up, and in Halstead, it arrived like a freight train. By noon, the slashed tires had stranded the convoy. Supplies baked in the heat, and desperate locals, who'd walked miles for aid, began to gather. Among them was Sarah Delgado, a single mother of two who'd lost her job when the drought killed the local grain mill. Sarah had pinned her hopes on the convoy's promise of formula and diapers. When she saw the flat tires and Evelyn's smug face, something snapped. "You did this?" she demanded, her voice raw. Evelyn's smile faltered. "We're protecting our town," she insisted. But the crowd wasn't buying it. Word spread like wildfire. Volunteers posted photos of the slashed tires and unopened aid crates on X, exposing the HOA's sabotage. The backlash was instant and brutal. Hashtags like Halstead Hoax and Karen Convoy trended nationwide. Locals flooded the scene, their anger boiling over. "You let my kids go hungry for your ego?" screamed Tom, a farmer who'd lost everything but his pride. He shoved past Chad, who dropped his tire iron and bolted. Marjorie tried to flee but tripped in the dust, her designer sunglasses skittering across the pavement. Evelyn stood her ground, clutching her phone like a shield. "This is for your own good," she cried, but her voice was swallowed by the crowd's roar. Luis, now backed by furious residents, opened a crate and handed out water bottles. The sight of clean, cold water real aid, not a scam, ignited the crowd's rage. Someone threw a rock, shattering a truck's windshield. Another yanked Evelyn's megaphone away. For the first time, fear flickered in her eyes. The standoff grew chaotic. Police arrived, but even they were torn. Many were locals who'd trusted the convoy. Evelyn's live stream kept rolling, capturing her unraveling. "They're attacking us," she wailed, but ex-users were merciless. "You flattened tires for clout," one comment read. "Hope the shame was worth it." By nightfall, the HOA trio was arrested for vandalism and obstructing public welfare. The convoy, patched up with spare tires, finally delivered its aid, but not before hours of delay left families like Sarah's in tears. In the days that followed, Halstead became a national lightning rod. News outlets dissected Evelyn's scheme, painting her as a symbol of entitled overreach. Ex-posts from across the country tore into her, some calling for harsher charges, others mocking her with memes of flat tires and crying Karens. But beneath the outrage, a deeper wound festered. Halstead's residents felt betrayed not just by Evelyn, but by the mistrust she'd sown. Neighbors who'd once shared coffee now eyed each other warily, divided by who'd cheered her on and who'd fought back. Evelyn's fall was swift. Her HOA was dissolved, her house egged, her name a punchline. Marjorie moved to Wichita, and Chad's realty business tanked. But the real cost was borne by people like Sarah, who'd waited hours in the heat for formula that spoiled in the delay. At a town hall a week later, she stood up, her voice steady but heavy. "We needed that help," she said, "and one woman's ego took it from us." The room fell silent, the weight of her words sinking in. Evelyn, watching from home under house arrest, turned off the TV. The convoy incident left scars. Halstead rebuilt, slowly, with new aid shipments and community fundraisers. But the trust was harder to mend. Some forgave, believing Evelyn had been misguided but not evil. Others saw her as a villain, her actions a mirror of a society quick to judge and slow to verify. The wooden signpost at the edge of town, where the convoy had stalled, still bore the faded words, "Fake aid, real lies." It wasn't clear who'd written it, Evelyn's crew or the crowd, but it stood as a grim reminder of the day hope was punctured. What would you have done in Halstead that day? Stood with the crowd, the convoy, or the HOA? Share your thoughts on where justice lies when trust is broken.